I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the KITSCH travel bottles for toiletries, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. With everything here, this is an 11-piece set. Technically, also included in that is this clear bag. This is a reusable plastic bag you could use as your 311 bag. It's a plastic that's more durable than like just a regular Ziploc baggie, but I found that this still wasn't really what I wanted in terms of a toiletry bag. So while everything does fit in here, I just prefer to use one that I use more frequently. But technically speaking, that is included if you do want to use it. With the actual I guess components here for everything for your toiletries, this is where I think more of like the value of this set comes in. So this is more like 10 pieces, but we have 3 containers that are good for like shampoo and conditioner. As you can see, you can write on them. So I have shampoo here, conditioner here, and then aloe here because I was traveling where I was going to be exposed to the sun a lot and I wanted to make sure I had some of that. These are 3 fluid ounces or 90 milliliters. And then we also have two smaller pump bottles, a spray bottle, a little container. There's technically 2 of these. I just do not have the other one at this current moment. And then with these little tools here, I'll get into those in a second. But these, I would say like the biggest I guess not maybe value, but the benefit of this is these containers here, instead of being a solid plastic, they're instead very flexible and bendy. So they only expand as much as you have in here. So over the course of 2 weeks, I still have shampoo left in this bottle, and me and my friend were both using this, and it wasn't even completely full of the 3 ounces. So I think what's beneficial about that is if you're going on a trip and you're kind of limited on space, you don't need to fill these up all the way, and it's not just automatically taking up more space because of that. So that's a really cool design. They also kind of expand out at the bottom here so they can stand up on their own. I did find them not really doing this very efficiently. So for the most part, I just kept them flat because I found them more packable when they were flat like that as well. Plus, by the time, like once you actually open this and squeeze some into your hand, this just flattened back out again, depending on like once this was empty enough, especially. So I just kept them flat. I never really stood them up, even in the shower. I just kind of laid them down. The caps themselves are a little bit hard to open over time they got easier for sure. This was like, I wasn't able when I first got these to just kind of push up on it. I had to really dig my finger underneath them. I wonder if this one, we use the aloe less. No, it's still a little bit more broken in. But really, so I would say, a little bit into my trip, they were fine, but they didn't feel like super, I guess out of everything here, nothing felt like really super quality. Then again, this whole set at the time of this video is $14, so it's more of like a bang for your buck situation. With the pump bottles, this one is filled with my face wash. I liked this pump bottle the most out of all of them. The cap slides on very easily. It does technically go like all the way further, but like all the way down to the bottom of it, but even if it goes all the way down there, it's not gonna push the pump. So I never had any issues with this leaking or anything. Same with this bottle here. This is filled with my leave-in conditioner, and this, you just remove this, pump the bottle, and it works perfectly fine. These 2 were, I would say, like, if I had to say which was my favorite, like it would be these 2 here. This spray bottle, I never use spray bottles, so that's why this is still empty. It works perfectly fine. Like when you have a liquid in here, it sprays out okay, but I don't really I don't really wear perfume in general, but even when I do bring it, I don't usually transfer what container it's in. So that's not super functional for me. If you have something that you like to spray, it works perfectly fine, like with a water consistency. This thing here, this little container, I loved this. I actually put, like I mentioned, like a hair pomade kind of thing in there and some styling creams, so that was really easy to access. It was kind of hard to close this. The seams not never, but I had a hard time like matching them up perfectly. So sometimes I'd be just twisting it forever and ever without realizing I'm actually not closing it. So it took a little bit of practice to actually close it the right way. I'm just giving up on that, to be quite honest, to save time. With these little tools, we have a funnel, and this funnel is so small. You can see if I bring it up a little closer to the camera, like that's really not much space at all and a very tiny hole. So I found that between this funnel and this also little like pipette where you can just suck up some liquid and then put it into the containers. These are designed to make it easier to fill the containers. I found these containers difficult to fill regardless. So these ones were a little bit easier, the ones where they unscrew, because this like size was a little bit more, I guess it was a little easier for me to actually like fit the lip of my existing containers inside of it. But with these, when I unscrew this, you can see that that's a really tiny hole. Oh my God, it's popping up. Don't love that. So the reason actually why that happened is because before shooting, I filled this up with air. So as you can see when this is full, like how much this actually, the base of it pops out. But that actually brings me to another point, which is when I was filling these, I had to, because this hole was a little bit smaller, when I'm putting shampoo in there, it's so thick, and this was not big enough to actually let the shampoo like filter through. So I'd have to squeeze some of the shampoo in here, and then this is really gross, but I had to like put my mouth over this hole and basically like blow air into it, which would then push what shampoo I just put in there down further, and then make more space for me. So it was a really, I'm not gonna lie, horrible experience filling these up, but technically I just had to do it one time before a 2-week trip, and I still have time, or I still have enough shampoo in here to get me through, I would say probably another 2 hair washes. So there's definitely a con to that, and that is mostly with like the ease of filling these. I would say these 2 tools really only work if you're filling maybe this spray bottle with just completely easy like water consistency liquid, because it's just, that's what's going to fit through those holes. The only tool that I did actually like was this little, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. It's a little like spoon type tool. It's like a little mini spatula. And this one was useful because it's a bit flimsy, so I actually didn't use it to, like if it was a lotion, it was easy to scoop with, but I was using something that was a little bit more firm. So I kind of broke it up first and got it into this container, and then I used this to like flatten it down. So I would say the spatula was the most useful, but these 3 things are included in that like 11-piece set. So when you're actually looking at what you get, it's more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if you include the one that's not on here. So it's more so like 8 toiletries plus a couple extra accessories that don't really work that well, in my opinion. So first I'm going to show you how everything packs up into this clear bag that they give you. If I just put all of these little toiletry bottles in here and then put the rest of the little squeeze ones in, this is, you can see something happening that I ran into a lot. So it does close, technically speaking, but also remember that these 3 bottles are not completely full. So once those load out a little bit more, you're gonna lose some of that space. It technically will still fit, but it's gonna be a tighter squeeze. And then in addition to that, I noticed basically loading any toiletry bag, and I'll show you them in mine in a second, when I put them in here, all of these caps, because they're hard, but the rest of this is soft, these all butt up against each other, and then this material is a little slippery. So when I would put them in the bag, it was just hard to keep everything like upright and in place, which I think is a sacrifice you have to make for this type of a material. But it's something worth considering if you get annoyed with how things fit into your bag. Again, if you're looking for a more budget option, this is a really great pick between all of these items that you get in here. You get a fair amount for the price, but the packability for me was just a little bit off. But I'll show you what it looks like inside of my toiletry bag now. This is how I have it all packed up inside of my 311 bag. You can see it's a little bit chaotic in here, but this is everything that I would take on a trip if it's just like a very basic trip, right? I'm just maybe going to see friends or going on a quick trip. I did take these, like I mentioned, to Tanzania, but when I took them there, I had a lot of more like specific set items, and this got very full very, very quickly. But in terms of like basic storage, you can see down here, they fit very easily down at the very bottom of my bag. The kind of arrangement can be a little bit specific because the caps are solid, whereas the whole bag or the actual like tube themselves are more flexible. But by the time I got everything in here, it was pretty easy to arrange. It just made it a little bit harder to get to things, obviously, just kind of the way that I had this configured. But with, you know, the actual case that comes with it, I felt that this was a little bit of a better option in terms of storage. In terms of comparison, we have quite a lot to look at here, and it looks kind of overwhelming, but just so you know, this is the KITSCH set. This is one from Matador, and then this is like a generic set from Walmart. So I would say in terms of what you actually get, the KITSCH set is more similar to what you would get at like a Walmart or a Target or, you know, the dollar store even, because you're getting these sort of basic containers and you're getting a lot of them. So the Walmart one, and we got this a couple years ago, so I'm not even sure if this is exactly what they sell still, but you can see that they have very similar little like lotion containers. So I really like these. I think it's great to have those in a set, but there are other brands that sell very similar things to this if you're looking to sort of like build your own set and pay like a little bit more. The actual toiletry containers, I think, are like the biggest difference. So these are very plasticky. You can see they have a lot of squeezability to them, and they're quite similar to the pump tubes or the pump containers that come with the KITSCH set. But in terms of like, I mean, a packability reference, you can see this conditioner container is, I don't know, a third of the way full, whereas this, well, let me show you the actual conditioner container. This conditioner container is significantly less full. Well, I guess maybe in comparison to shampoo. I would say I probably am going to get about the same amount of product out of both of these, but they are completely different packable sizes. So you're going to be able to fit this in a much more compact space from KITSCH compared to something from Walmart that's just a very solid bottle. In comparison, I think if you want something that KITSCH does, but you want something a little bit more quality, this one from Matador is a great option. This is their toiletry bag. It hangs up, so you can hang it, unlike the KITSCH where you kind of have to rely on that base popping out, which again, I mentioned, never really does. These bottles from Matador, you can actually hang up in the shower, or I think the caps like are a solid enough base so they'll stand on their own as well. So I think Matador's version of this is way more effective. The material is also just more durable. They make really great gear like this, very packable. This is also way more packable compared to the KITSCH options. So I think, you know, if you're looking for that sort of functionality, Matador's is definitely a better execution of that. You're just going to pay a little bit more. But in terms of like KITSCH compared to something that you get from, you know, whatever box store you have near you, the really biggest benefit you're getting is these more flat packable toiletry bottles compared to the more like hard plastic ones, because otherwise a lot of these types of style of containers do come in pretty much any set. So there you have it, the KITSCH travel bottles for toiletries. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.